The speech I'm analyzing is the Dananjaya Hettiarachchi speech. It's the second one on the list. It's clearly a persuasive speech. He's talking about how people are broken down and beaten down at certain points in their lives, but in the end, it's only temporary, and they're brought back up, and everybody's still special and unique in their own way. For delivery, he uses repetition. He uses the line, "I see something special in you, but I just don't know what it is." He used that, I believe, 3 times, and it was very well placed, and it tied the entire speech together. It was used in the beginning, middle, and end. He uses a nurturing and optimistic tone that's very uplifting and positive, and it fits the subject wonderfully. He uses unique voices for unique characters when he's stating the repeated line, "I see something in you." He adds character to the speech and personality, which just put it over the top. At one point, he's talking about the 3 tears that a mother cries. It's joy, sorrow, and shame. When he's talking about the tears of joy, he puts his hand down to the left. When he's talking about the tears of sorrow, he puts his hand down to the right. And then when he's talking about the tears of shame, he puts his hand over his heart, and that put responsibility on him and showed his sorrow and added some depth to the speech that I really liked. For body language, he uses a strong posture. He's a professional, so he knew what he was doing, and he was comfortable up there. It showed a strong command over the subject, and he just did a fantastic job throughout the entire speech with posture. For eye contact, he did wonderfully. The same tone. He's a professional. He knew what he was doing. He moved from left to right on the stage and glanced up and down, looked all over, and at one point he even pointed in the audience and made direct eye contact with a single person. For audience adaptation, his questions fit in very well with the scene. It was a question generalized enough to where it was fitting of the competition. He asked if how many people had an emotional mom, how many people had a cool dad. That's a general stereotype of parents, so chances are a good amount of people raise their hands. So I thought that was a very good question to ask. He chose a very relatable topic, so everybody could put themselves in his shoes, and it just made it completely believable. Everybody's been broken before, so it could be related to. For the occasion, he added comedy, which connected him to the audience. It made him stand out, I'm sure, from the dozens of other speeches that everybody was hearing. The rose metaphor was a great metaphor. It was probably one of the best physical, symbolic things that I've seen done in a speech. He was very professional for a story that he added a lot of comedy to. I don't know honestly how he did it. He maintained a great professionalism throughout a very humorous speech, honestly. For credibility, he connects with the audience. There's a line when he's holding the rose. He says, "This flower is not much different from you and I." So he puts the audience in his shoes, and then also he makes himself vulnerable. He tells a story about his darkest times when he was 17 and he was arrested and flunked out of school. His mom was crying tears of shame over him. So the vulnerability makes everybody believe him. In conclusion, what I got out of the speech for public speaking in general: comedy and humor is acceptable even in very professional environments. Physical metaphors and vulnerability create a great connection with the audience. And repetition is a great way to tie a speech together. Using that same line in the beginning, middle, and end just absolutely tied the speech together wonderfully. For my skills personally, when I speak with a faster pace, I got out of the speech that I need to use faster hand movement. It's not going to look synchronized if I use slow hand movements and I'm speaking quickly. So that's the first thing I got out of the speech. And second, comedy is going to create a great connection with the audience, especially for our young environment, a bunch of college students. It's going to work out well. So maybe that's something that I'll explore throughout my speeches.